and chat with us at BFM anytime, anywhere for free. Don't forget to add BFM 부산영어방송 to your Kakao friends list.
Man, I haven't got a chance. I call him.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
Are certainly feeling the summer heat in full force. Climate change has driven up temperatures and is causing more abnormal weather conditions. And it turns out the port city of Busan is particularly vulnerable to climate change. This, of course, affects people's safety, but also can balloon into things like property damage as well. The effects of climate change are coming fast, and the city will have to take measures to reduce the risks that come along with those changes as well. I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Wednesday, July 24th on befm 부산영어방송. Good morning, Wavers. Oh my goodness. For those of you in the Busan area, how did you sleep last night? I don't know about you, but I woke up several times throughout the night because of all that thunder and lightning. And I know some of our staff members, they say they slept through the night like a baby. I, on the other hand, I woke up several times because it was so loud. I was kind of, it's kind of habit counting in between, like, the thunder and like the lightning, and it's habit. You learn in grade school and elementary school how to do that. But I hope you're all doing well. That whether you have young ones and even pets. My cats were a little skittish last night, so I hope you're all doing well. Summers definitely feel hotter, wetter. We definitely complain about it to each other, and the recent monsoon pattern definitely is telling of the changing climate. And Busan, being a coastal city, is particularly vulnerable to such climate change. We actually have concrete figures on just how much. So the Bank of Korea Busan headquarters analyzed that if climate change response remains at this level, well, the maximum daily precipitation level will go up to 186 millimeters per day in the next 10 years, which is extremely heavy rain. Well, then this will lead to 2.7 times the property damage compared to what we're experiencing now, which would constitute a large-scale disaster. So how do they arrive at this figure? Well, for each percentage point increase in rainfall, there is a 6.9% increase in direct damages. And Busan is expected to see almost a 39% increase in rainfall in the next 10 years. So we could see nearly triple the rain-related damage. So we will dive into the specific details by industry in just a little bit. In the meantime, though, it's time for our text topic. All right, so here we go. It has been really hot and humid. So have you resorted to taking, cold showers, or do you still, take warm or hot showers? And when you do go to bed, do you still sleep with a blanket, or do you opt for no blanket? Some people I know, no matter how hot it gets, I don't know if my sister's listening, she still sleeps with her winter, what is it called? That kukse, that material, that winter blanket, even though it's summer. She insists on that warm, cozy blanket in the dead of summer. It's what are you doing? But she really likes that cozy feeling. So that's why that's not why we have the question, but I'm asking you out there. 자, 푹푹 찌는 이 무더위에 여러분 우리 웨이버들 찬물에 샤워한다. 따뜻한 물로 샤워한다. 아니면 아직도 나는 진짜 따뜻한 것도 아니고 난 뜨거운 물에 샤워한다. 또 이불 덮고 잔다. 아니면 이불 안 덮는다. What is your preference? That's what we're talking about. You can send in your responses to BFM's live stream live chat on YouTube. Go to the YouTube platform. You do have to type in BEFM or 부산영어방송, subscribe, log in, and you can chat away with our other waivers. Also, pound 9050. That's going to cost you 100 won. You can also subscribe to our Kakao Talk channel. Same thing. Type in BFM 부산영어방송 to find us. You can listen to 90.5 or 103.3 FM on the radio. Like I said, on a YouTube channel in real time right now, or at your leisure later on. We also have the Patbang app as well. Looking ahead to our Wednesday morning together, we have Kimberly coming in for the midpoint catch-up around the world. We have Jennifer with Skills 101. That's in hour number 2. You know, for a special interview, we're going to tackle something that is like real time. I don't know if you've heard of this, whooping cough. In Korean, it's called pegire. It is trending right now. So many people I know, especially with young kids, if you have kids in school, maybe they are going on vacation, but kids around you, pegire, they might have come down with this. Kids are masking up again because of this. We're going to tackle this in hour number 2. So stay tuned for this, plus much more. I'll be back with today's headlines. It is now 7:06, and this is today's headlines. Han Dong-hoon wins PPP chairmanship in a landslide. Han Dong-hoon has been elected as the new head of the ruling People Power Party, or PPP, at the party's national convention, securing 62.8% of the votes in a landslide victory. Yoon to visit Czech Republic to discuss nuclear power project. President Yoon Suk-yeol said he will visit Prague in September at the request of Czech Prime Minister Petr Fiala during their phone call yesterday. Kim Kan-hee thought gifts from pastor were from discount store. Reports say that First Lady Kim Kan-hee told the prosecution that she had accepted cosmetic products gifted by Pastor Choi Jae-young because she thought they were bought from a discount store. Supreme Court Justice nominee faces questions about daughter's investments. The daughter of Supreme Court Justice nominee Lee Soo-gyun was found to have made massive profits in her stock investment by selling the shares she bought with her father's money back to her father. Harris secures enough delegates for a Democratic nomination. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has secured the support of enough delegates to become her party's nominee against Republican Donald Trump. And these are today's headlines. It is now time for Busan Updates. We have Haley in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
So did you sleep through the night okay?
Oh, definitely not.
I know.
Right? I'm like, how?
You and I
we say this
were
out
woken
of
up.
pure jealousy because I did try to go back to sleep while the thunderstorm was going on, but I mean, it was like a surround sound of disaster.
Let's all stare at the person who slept through it. Off camera. Who could that be?
Well, and then Kimberly, who came in early, she said
slept through it?
she also slept. She's like, what? I'm like,
Really? Are we the weirdos?
I don't know.
Okay. So, all waivers out there, let us know. Did you not hear the thunder? And
Right.
it was really. Anyhow, so text topic. Cold shower, hot shower, in between, blanket, no blanket.
Warm shower.
Warm shower.
Yeah, I try.
Lukewarm or warm?
Okay. Kind of like on the warmer side. Well, here's the thing though. Is it just my shower? But there's either scalding hot or ice cold. and then you have to like make a millimeter adjustment to the knob, and then you set it to like a millimeter to the left, and it's like, oh, it's hot. It's like the entire it's a steam shower, and then you push it a little bit to the right, and we're like, well, I'm gonna get like cardiac arrest from all the cold water I brush. I'm like,
really?
There's no, I don't know.
There's no like.
There's no happy medium. Let's get it together. Shower, and then I start with the covers, but I do wake up with it
with no covers?
Nowhere in sight.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But then I also sleep with a fan because I don't have an AC in my room. So yeah, just myself just kicking it off in the middle of the night.
Okay. Now we know. All right, let's dive into our first update. First, Busan, Ulsan, and Gyeongnam have formed an economic cooperative, and they're working together to secure national funding for some key projects.
Right. So, of course, the three neighbors, Bul, Gyeong, they've been involved in varying degrees of cooperation, alliances, and whatnot. But this Pan-Metropolitan Economic Alliance, the promotion team said that they're going to seek national funding for key projects for next year. That's because it's kind of budget planning time right now for the central government, so we're trying to get a head start. So among the three municipalities, there are 17 such key projects. So number one, that includes the expressway that would connect Ulsan to Changwon, of course running through Busan as well.
Right.
And also a regional innovation mega project involving the airline industry. And then for land-based transportation, they're looking to increase hydrogen cell-fueled buses and also providing support for a regional pediatric emergency center. Definitely key here.
Right.
So the cities and the province, they will send representatives from their respective governments to keep contact with the central government's budget allocation while that's going on. Excuse me. And then once that budget bill goes from the government to the parliament, at that point, the governments will send their respective finance and strategy department chiefs to keep contact with the necessary committees and lawmakers during the project.
I see. So here's hoping that we can all work together and keep it going. All right, a massive hiring push in Busan's retail may be underway soon.
Right, and this is particularly important because, how often do we talk about jobs and the need for quality jobs in the city? So these big retailers in Busan, they're actually reopening after their respective renewals and renovations. So there's a big hiring push coming in September, I believe, and that'll be the first time in 5 years.
Okay.
So we're talking about, for one, Shinsegae Simon Busan Premium Outlet and also another, the Hyundai department store. They're both planning on reopening their respective retail outlets this September.
Sure.
So then Shinsegae Simon is holding a job fair tomorrow at the Gijang County office, and that'll feature 25 different companies that are under Shinsegae affiliation and also brands that will enter the outlet. So available jobs will range from management positions to custodial staff and landscaping up to 300 people.
Well, what's notable is that these retailers are going to be hiring locally. That's good
right,
news.
so that's definitely key here. So both Shinsegae Simon and Hyundai Department Store, they've decided to hold priority hiring for local residents. So that would be in Gijang County and Donggu District respectively. And also they've signed memoranda of understanding with the respective local governments to create jobs in that region. So the last time that we had such a big shopping retail outlet holding large-scale hiring was back in 2019.
Ooh.
So this is expected to inject some really much needed action in the local economy.
Good for everybody, especially for our youth and younger people who are really looking for jobs. All right, we have a couple events and exhibitions at local museums.
So good news for parents, families with their children on vacation. Number one, Busan Museum is holding their usual monthly Culture Day performance this coming Friday. So this month's theme, Wonder Live Magic Show.
Ooh.
So this is a magic show, a bubble show, massive balloons, and lasers for the entire family. So this is open to the first 200 people. It's free at Busan Museum's auditorium. The show starts at 4 p.m., doors open at 3, but I've been to these shows in the past. The lines began forming much, much earlier than at 3, so definitely, if you're going to bring your family, plan in advance. Also, moving on to the Provincial Capital Museum.
Yes.
They're holding a special exhibition called Rubber Shoes, 고무신. Right. So this commemorates, number one, the 71st anniversary of the Korean War armistice.
Sure.
And then it also highlights the rubber shoes manufacturing industry,
Right
which
here in
was
Busan.
really kind of the lifeline of Busan after the war, and really what the cultural meaning is for rubber shoes as kind of
Yes.
the foot of the everyday people. So the exhibition opens on July 30th and it'll go on through the end of November.
Indeed. Thanks for giving us the lowdown on all the updates. We'll check in with you real soon with the news. Thank you, Haley.
Thank you.
Back to you, the listeners. We're talking about it being so hot. So do you take cold showers when it's this hot? Or do you still take like warm or hot showers? Or I don't know. Some people, they like take like warm showers and then, at the very end, like to keep your skin supple and stay young. I know some people, they turn it to cold at the very end. It's a real thing, people. And also about blankets. Do you, still keep the blankets on, or because it's so hot? I'll be honest. I'm a no blanket kind of girl during summer. So give us your preferences. Here's your traffic and weather for hour number 1. It is now 7:15, and here's your traffic report. It's looking slow from Manduk Tunnel number 2 toward the Manduk intersection right now. And according to Taejin Waiver, there was an accident on Deokcheon interchange at the entrance of the Namhae Expressway. So that's some real-time information right there for you, other waivers. It's also backed up on Luno Samsung-daero from the Myeonji underpass to Shinho Bridge as well. There's also congestion on the Dongso overpass from Pyeongnekgo ramp to the old Kaegum tollgate. As for the weather, it's currently 25 degrees Celsius with showers across parts of the city. Showers are forecast sporadically throughout the day, with the sun peeking out maybe throughout the day. Daytime high is expected to go up to 32 degrees, with another heat wave advisory in place today. The rest of the country will also see some rain with up to 80 millimeters in parts of Gyeonggi, and most of the country under a heat wave advisory. So please, once again, you're going to have to keep hydrated throughout the day. This was your traffic and weather.
Are you an early bird? Are you up to date on the news? Are you a trendsetter? For all of the biggest issues from Busan to the world and useful information you need, right here on Morning Wave in Busan.
It's time for our news segment. This is News Digest. Haley Sir here in the studio with us. So first, we're going to talk about the friction over medical reform. It is heating up once again, still one of our top stories. Hospitals have accepted the trainee doctors' resignations and will take in a new pool of interns and residents, but some professors, they're refusing to train the new batch of incoming doctors now.
Right. So currently the trainee doctor applications to start this September, they are open. However, professors from the Catholic University of Korea, Seoul National, Seonggyungwan, Yonsei, and Ulsan universities, they have issued their respective statements disagreeing with this recruitment of new trainee doctors. So they say that there are, number one, concerns about the quality of training for first-year residents or first-year interns without their senior residents present at the hospitals to help them. And then they also expressed concerns that if residents from regional hospitals apply and work for mostly Seoul area hospitals, then this will exacerbate the so-called collapse of regional medicine.
I see.
And then there was also, issues on principle of, especially Yonsei University professors saying that the spots that are open are for the residents who have left. So they will wait for the residents to come back, and they cannot accept the new trainee doctors as their peers and students. And other university hospital professors are apparently boycotting to train these new doctors in various ways. For example, refusing to attend interviews or refusing to offer classes.
And the government, of course, expressing its regrets over this decision, right?
Right. So the Minister of Health, Cho Kyu-hong, said that this move is regrettable as the boycott then ignores the patient's discomforts and anxiety. So Cho says that he believes that this is not the majority opinion of all the professors, and the government looks forward to the doctors acting as, quote, wise seniors and teachers to continue, number one, convincing their junior doctors to come back, and number two, offer quality education. The government also said that it will announce the specific roadmap that will be complete with legislation revisions and financial investment plans by the end of August. And patient groups also condemned the doctors and professors' boycott of the new training doctors, saying that the medical gap has led to medical diagnosis, leading to the prospect of death and fear for the patients. So they called on the doctors to withdraw this position, saying that this boycott isn't a move so they could feel proud of their peers, but a shameless and inhumane act that gives up on the patient's suffering and lives.
So once again, I mean, the stalemate continuing on so many, now multiple fronts.
Right.
Okay, so that's that story. All right, on to our next story. Last week, the Supreme Court made a landmark decision recognizing rights of same-sex couples. And so this is raising hopes for these couples, right?
Right, about what other rights they may get moving forward. So a little recap. So last Thursday, the Korean Supreme Court ruled that same-sex couples are eligible for the same health insurance benefits as heterosexual couples. So that struck down the National Health Insurance Corporation's refusal to provide spousal coverage for same-sex couples.
Right.
Particularly in this case was a male-male couple. So the court was clear that it didn't recognize same-sex marriage, but the hope among same-sex couples and advocates and allies is that this could be a major step in kind of chipping away at the discrimination that exists on societal and institutional levels, and also perhaps a cornerstone in same-sex marriage recognition further down the line.
Right.
So actually, some same-sex couples have submitted marriage resignations, 혼인신고서, which is, of course, not processed, but there have been 33 same-sex marriage registrations that have been submitted to various local governments since March of 2022. So you might be wondering, is that allowed? Can that happen? So here's a technicality.
Okay.
Technically, with the reform of the Family Relations Registry, one can file for marriage, so submit the paperwork, regardless of gender.
Oh.
Because that got rid of kind of the gender distinction of family, what constitutes a spouse.
Sure.
However, once those papers are filed, then the court needs to approve it, accept it. That's where the roadblock comes.
I see.
Courts do not accept it because same-sex marriage is not legally recognized in South Korea, thus cannot be processed under current law. So many same-sex couples who got married abroad in countries where that is legal, they have submitted the papers to at least kind of leave evidence of a record as kind of on principle, as a symbolic action, including the lesbian couple who became the first lesbian couple in Korea to have a baby through sperm donation.
I see. So once again, this decision was truly for Korea,
Right.
very much a very important
A landmark ruling.
Yes, setting precedent. So we'll see what happens in the near future on that front. Next, there are some changes coming to public services we may actually experience in everyday life. So let's hear about this.
So the government has made updates to common everyday services that'll improve public sentiment and really how you feel immediately. First, with 수능, the CSATs.
Okay.
Starting this year, students, test takers will be able to fill out the application form in advance online.
Oh.
Yeah, this is major because right now that's only done by hand, but it will be made available online, number one, across 11 municipalities this year, and it'll spread nationwide next year. Also, right now, only current students, so high school third-year students, can do bank transfers to pay for the testing fees. And then the rest, retakers had to pay in cash. But then also, especially if you're in your early 20s, you're like, what cash?
What's cash?
Right, like I have to have cash.
Right.
So that has been updated to allow for everyone, all the test takers, to use bank transfers. And then for the post office, so this may apply to everyone, if your package was lost or damaged, you could file for compensations, but it took some time to process. However, starting now, the money will come through within 3 days of you filing the papers and submitting evidence for an expedited service.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of postal services, Korean nationals living abroad, especially in the U.S., Japan, Canada, and Australia, will be able to get kimchi delivered via postal, like Korea Postal Services.
Oh, you weren't before?
Well, I mean, if for example, if you were to live abroad and I could send it to you,
Yes.
but you could actually get it through the Korea Post, like an official means.
Okay.
So the government will also expand the number of rapid EV chargers by double the current number across expressways. And finally, expectant mothers will get a 40% discount on all Korail trains. So that includes the KTX through Mugunghwa. The opening date does differ slightly depending on service to service, but these will all go in the second half of this year.
Second half of the year.
So
we're
now, really.
Yes. I see. So good news for people who are affected by this, right? So thank you for sharing this news with our waivers. All right. Lastly, in international news, let's talk about the deadly protests in Bangladesh.
Right. So this has been going on for the better part of this month, and we are really going to get into that story. So starting in early July, Bangladesh has seen student protests that have unfortunately gone very violent under violent police suppression.
Sure.
So the death toll, it's not an official death toll, but a lot of foreign press outlets have put it at 163 as of the end of last week, and that is likely to rise.
Okay, so we were going to go to the beginning. What happened? What caused these protests?
Right, so a quick bit of history. So Bangladesh gained independence from Pakistan in 1971.
Okay.
And since then, the government had implemented a mandate saying that 30% of government jobs must go to these liberation war fighters. And then now, because it's been years, it covers children and relatives, grandchildren of these freedom fighters. So actually, there was a protest in 2018 that led to the government scrapping this quota mandate. However, the court brought it back again this June, which is what led to the protest. So because there are just the prospects of job quality and jobs available are very, very poor in Bangladesh. So government jobs are often really the only quality jobs. So a third of that going to one specific sector, that was seen as unfair. So, and then upon the protest, the court on Sunday scaled back the quota system to just 5% of the jobs going to liberation fighters and their children. However, it's unclear if the students will be satisfied with these concessions. Because protesters say it's not just about the liberation fighters, but that the quota system benefits the supporters of the current prime minister. So that's why the main opposition Bangladesh Nationalist Party has backed the protest. But this has gone political as the ruling party is actually saying that the responsibility lies with the opposition party.
I see. Well, thanks for explaining the backdrop, the history of what's going on. But now the protests have gone beyond just the job quotas.
Right. So at the beginning of this week, we thought perhaps the situation's wrapping up because the court has scaled back the quotas.
Right.
But the students have released these demands that not only point to the job market, but also their dissatisfaction with the government. Number one, they want the prime minister to accept responsibility and publicly apologize for the mass killings of students. They also call for resignations of major ministers, firing of police officers, and also some university chairs for inciting this. The universities have been shut down.
Okay.
And also compensation for families of the students who are killed. The list goes on and on. So experts say that we may see further protests down the line.
I mean, of course, protests, you have the right to protest, and we would hope that they do.
Right.
But the fact that so many young people have died.
163, right.
One too many. Well, thank you so much for covering all the news, and we'll check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you, Haley.
See you in a bit.
All right, we're going to take a little breather. How about this one? Gangster's Paradise by Coolio.
I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. Cause I've been blasting and laughing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. But I ain't never crossed a man that didn't deserve it. Me be treated like a punk, you know that's unheard of. You better watch how you're talking and where you're walking, or you and your homies might be lined in chalk. I really hate the trip, but I gotta low. As they croak, I see myself in the pistol smoke. Fool, I'm the kind of G the little homies wanna be like, on my knees in the night, saying prayers in the street light. Been spending most of their lives living in the gangster's paradise. We've been spending most of their lives living in the gangster's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. Look at the situation they got me facing. I can't live a normal life. I was raised by the state, so I gotta be down with the hood team. Too much television watching got me chasing dreams. I'm an educated fool with money on my mind. Got my 10 in my hand and a gleam in my eye. I'm a loped out gangster, set tripping banker, and my homies is down, so don't arouse my anger. Fool, death ain't nothing but a heartbeat away. I'm living life, do or die. What can I say? I'm 23 now, but will I live to see 24? The way things is going, I don't know. Tell me why are we so blind to see that the ones we hurt are you and me? We've been spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. We've been spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. Power and the money, money and the power. Minute after minute, hour after hour, everybody's running, but half of them ain't looking what's going on in the kitchen. But I don't know what's cooking. They say I got to learn, but nobody's here to teach me. If they can't understand it, how can they reach me? I guess they can't, I guess they won't, I guess they front. That's why I know my life is out of luck, fool. We've been spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. We've been spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. Tell me why are we so blind to see that the ones we hurt are you and me? Tell me why are we so blind to see that the ones we hurt are you and me?
Ah, yes, this is from that film, yes, Dangerous Minds, as Leslie reminded us. Such an oldie at this point, but such a goodie as well. Today we're talking about the impact of climate change, right? Especially with the heavy rain, the heat waves going on local industries. This is especially pertinent as Busan, we're a port city, and the weather can have a direct impact on all the industries here locally. First, with port logistics. Experts with the Busan branch at the Bank of Korea estimated that if climate change responses remain the same, port logistics will see up to 1 trillion won in damages from an increase in heat waves. For manufacturing, heat waves take a direct hit on productivity. Hotter weather could reduce productivity by up to 40% in Busan in the next decade, and that will cost companies 70% more in personnel costs. to make up for the losses. So climate change is going to cost us quite a bit in the next decade. And this is definitely an alarm to reduce the use of fossil fuels and take our city in a greener direction. And I know that we are taking some steps, but don't we have to move it along a little quicker is a suggestion, right? I know that always the goal is there. We're moving in the right direction, but maybe we can go push ourselves, usher ourselves a little quicker along that path. That would be the goal, right? Anyhow, let's get back to our text topic. It has been scorching hot. To me, it's like I can handle the heat. The humidity, that really gets me. Like yesterday, I was like, the heat I can handle. 너무 습해요. It's just like, that's what kind of like 축축 처지게 만드는 것 같지 않아요? That's how I felt yesterday. It's just, Anyhow, topic. It's been hot. So, have you resorted to taking cold showers, or do you still stick to your warm, hot showers? And do you sleep with a blanket or no blanket? 자, 푹푹 찌는 이 무더위에 여러분은 우리 웨이버들 찬물로 샤워하세요? 아니면 따뜻한 물로 샤워하세요? 또 이불 덮고 자는지 아니면 no 이불? Looking at your responses, 이거 보면서 조금 웃으면서 조금 슬펐어요. How about 안나님 on our Kakao Talk? 뜨거운 물에 샤워하면 시원해요. 늙어가는 중? So she says she feels so refreshed after she takes a hot shower. Is this a sign of me getting older? I don't know. Is it? Are we getting older? How about 조현철님 says this. 몇 년 전까지 해도 찬물에 씻었는데 지금 이제는 미지근한 물이 씻어요. 늙었나 봐요. Is there a common theme? So he used to, just a few years ago, take cold showers, but now he likes it lukewarm. Is this a sign I'm getting older? Does it mean? I don't know. I took a cold shower this morning, so does that mean I'm young? No, I'm just kidding. So, yes. And today, for some reason, people are like posting what time they wake up. So far, I think I'm the winner. Let's get to our hot clip. For today's hot clip, I want to talk about a term. I like sharing new terms with our waivers, especially for, our Korean listeners. So this term that I'm going to cover is coffee badging, BADGING. Let's listen to a clip from Fox News and Quad Compass.
Let's be honest, whoever really enjoys going into the office for work?
Gotta be remote. Too used to it by now.
I think it'd be nice to have like a hybrid situation. Yeah, like being at home sometimes, going in sometimes. I don't know, a little bit of both.
To many, that's why the pandemic was the perfect way to pivot and work from home for good. But a lot of companies are now demanding their employees actually come to work, at least some of the week. So enter another pivot. Coffee badgers.
I think it's valid.
Why?
I don't know, like get your coffee, talk to a few people. That's it. All you want to do, right?
It's the newest workplace trend among employees where you come to work and show face. Maybe grab a coffee and talk amongst coworkers. Then after a little while, you leave. And so you earn your pretend badge just for showing up. A recent survey from Owl Lab shows that 58% of nearly 2,000 employees on a hybrid work model admitted to coffee badging. This recent TikTok also brought attention to the new trend.
They badge into the office, they drink a cup of coffee, wave, hi, I'm here, and then they get out to go home and do work.
There will always be a way and an opportunity for employees to figure out how to game the system.
Career expert Greg Giangrande doesn't advise coffee badgers to try and game the system. After all, he says your boss may very well find out.
If you're a coffee badger and you're only showing up for an hour or two, your employer is going to know that. And I don't think they're going to accept that as showing up for the day for very long.
Some say coffee badging is like the stealthy cousin of quiet quitting. Both are ways of saying enough is enough to certain aspects of work without actually quitting. Coffee badging avoids face time, while quiet quitting avoids exceeding expectations. But here's the twist. Quiet quitting is broader, like a slow simmer, while coffee badging is a quick, concentrated shot of disengagement. They share the same ingredients, though. Dissatisfaction with workload, lack of flexibility, and that ever-present work-life imbalance monster.
Well, coffee badging. So basically, it is all about work-life balance. I know we're sick of hearing "whatabel." However, it's so important not just for the Gen Zs or the millennials. It's for, I think, of all age groups. One thing I think COVID taught us was this. Life is important. Friends are important. Family is important. Yes, work pays the bills. But we want to enjoy life, don't we? And sometimes we really want to work on a minimal basis. 눈치 조금 봅니다, PD님. 하지만 열심히 하겠습니다. Yes, this was your hot clip for today.
Stay tuned. You're listening to Morning Wave in Busan.
All right, listeners, it is now time to check in with Kimberly for our midweek catch-up around the world, right?
Yes.
It's a mouthful. How are you?
Good, how are you? Good morning.
Yes. Our text topic today, first of all, cold shower, warm shower. We're in the middle of summer. What do you prefer?
With the other waivers, I do a warm shower, but then at the end, I do like a shock cold shower for 10 seconds.
Okay. And then blanket, no blanket.
Blanket, because my mom always told me like that Korean myth or that saying, you always have to cover your stomach when you're sleeping. So it's always there.
I wonder, is Dr. Gio on vacation? I was going to ask him. Is that like a myth that we have to cover like our tummy section?
I don't know. That's something that my mom has just always told me.
It's like ingrained in all like Korean people. Like cover your tummy. Right?
My feet can be out, but not
the tummy, right? I wonder why. But anyhow, thanks for sharing. Well, let's get into some of the stories you've brought for us. What do you have?
Yes, so today our first story is going to be about edible drones for disaster relief.
Wait, what? Edible drones?
Yes.
Oh.
So it's really innovative. So first, imagine a disaster strikes.
Okay.
A hurricane wipes out all the roads. An earthquake cuts off entire regions.
Oh no.
So now people are trapped, injured, and desperately need help. But what if getting them aid was as simple as just flying them over a little snack?
Have a drone flying them a snack.
Yes.
That I get, right?
But it's edible. The drone itself.
Uh-huh.
So it might sound crazy.
Yeah, it
but
does.
That's exactly the concept researchers are developing, which are edible drones. And these wouldn't be your typical drones that are buzzing around the park, but these would be flying machines made entirely out of food, especially and specifically designed to deliver vital supplies to disaster survivors in remote areas.
I'm still in my head, I was imagining, I know what drones look like. I've seen actual drones, but I'm thinking like mini little propellers. Are they going to be like chocolate bars or I don't even know how to imagine to come up with the idea of what parts of the drone are going to be edible.
So the idea is still in its early stages, but the researchers from the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology are focusing on creating drones with wings that are made from compressed high-proteined rice cakes.
Rice cakes, light.
Not like 떡, but
the 뻥튀기 light.
Exactly.
Yes, okay.
So the rice cakes are laser cut into hexagonal shapes.
육각형.
Yes. And they're glued together, but not really glued because it has to be edible, but it's put together by gelatin. And wrapped in plastic. So these wings would be lightweight, yet strong enough to carry essential items like high-calorie energy bars, water purification tablets, or first aid kits.
This is so ingenious. This I now I'm getting a better picture now that you're explaining it like real slowly. Oh, so after they kind of drop off the cargo, like all the gear, the essentials, like, you know, like really life-saving food. So what would happen like then, because it's like part of the drone itself, then they would just like disappear basically?
So that's basically what it is.
One-way trip, right? Okay.
These drones wouldn't add to the environmental impact of the disaster. And once they land, the people retrieve the supplies.
Okay.
The drones themselves become the source of food. So they'll be able to unwrap the wings and crack it open.
That's the visual on our YouTube channel.
And they can actually eat those hexagon shapes of the rice cakes.
I love the visual.
So it's very little. So these won't be going around across entire continents. As you can see, the propeller is really small.
Right.
So it won't go that far.
Still though.
But researchers are envisioning them being launched from nearby areas.
Right.
Or even dropped off from a larger rescue aircraft.
Right.
And they wouldn't be super sophisticated, but they're just gliding in.
But the thing is, I mean, this isn't an emergency.
Right.
So it's not like we're having like a whole like meal and it's going to taste good and we're going to have like a cookout. This is in a real emergency to sustain people until further help can come.
Right, exactly.
This is enough to just, you know, to get you through until so that you don't die. So
it says that the wingspan is about 70 centimeters long. So having that whole breakfast rice cake, it's about one breakfast serving.
Ah, okay. But that's so, I mean, that's the difference between life and death. So I'm all for it. I love the idea. And I mean, I'm sure there are some hurdles to come, but I love this fascinating concept of like combining like, you know, sometimes like, you know, when people come up with ideas, it's like, you know, when you go to like, for example, these car shows, like it's like high concept, but you always think like, when are we ever going to see that car like in reality, right? But this is like high concept, but it can really come in handy. Like we can use it in real life, right?
Super simple and back to the basics.
Well, I love this innovative idea. Thanks for sharing it with our listeners. And hopefully we won't ever have to use it. But if it ever comes to fruition where there is a disaster, maybe it might help us out one day, right? All right. Let's move on to our next story.
Our second story is about a metro bus being converted into a mobile food market. And this has been coming into food deserts in low-income neighborhoods in Toronto and around in the U.S.
Okay, so we're going to back up a little bit. Food desert, you said. Not dessert.
No.
Desert.
Yes.
What's a food desert?
So a food desert, kind of like what we think about a desert being very dry and there's nothing there.
Okay, desert.
It's an area where residents have limited access to affordable fresh fruits, vegetables, and other healthy groceries. This can be due to a lack of supermarkets or grocery stores nearby.
Okay.
Or because existing stores might not offer a wide variety of fresh produce.
Well, that does sound like a pretty big problem because you would think, like, you know, in this modern day and age, like any... You know, if you look around, you would think like, doesn't every place have like a grocery store or a market? But apparently not, right?
So some cities are getting creative by trying to address this problem. So imagine you're a local bus stop. Not just a place to wait for your transportation or your bus.
Okay.
But also a chance to grab some fresh fruit and produce or maybe even a hot meal. That's the idea behind this fantastic initiative that's converting retired metro buses into mobile food markets.
Ooh.
The concept emerged from a collaborative effort between local governments, community organizers, and transit authorities who recognize the critical need to address this food problem.
Oh, so, okay. So give us more details because I like the idea. I think the concept, I mean, if it's needed, I'm all behind it. So give us more details about this.
So these retired buses are revamped with refrigerators, freezers, shelving, and even cooking areas.
Oh, cooking areas.
Yes. So the familiar bus is transformed into your little mini market. So I don't know if you've ever been to one of the subways in Korea, where there's like a section where there's a library. Have you ever been on one of those subways?
Yes.
That's kind of like that, but here it's a food market on a bus.
So like it's kind of like I see, like that.
Yes.
Okay, I see. There's a visual on our YouTube channel, Waivers. So it's like a produce, like a small produce, like a store, but it's mobile. Okay, I yes, and then and then inside.
Right.
Okay.
So these mobile markets can be strategically stationed in low-income neighborhoods.
Okay.
Ensuring residents have convenient access to healthy food options, and they can even accept food stamps, debit cards, making these nutritious foods more affordable.
This is such a great idea. I wish we had this in Korea so that like in the rural areas, especially where elderly people, they might have a hard time accessing going to like 마트, like going to even 편의점, like where it's so far away and they cannot drive, or it's like they have mobility issues even, right? Oh, that would be a fantastic idea.
Yes,
Right.
so these have been coming in Los Angeles, Chicago, DC, and Toronto.
Are there, well, obviously, I know what the answer is going to be. So what are the benefits? Not are there. What are the benefits of having fresh food? Give
So
us
not only are they able to have this fresh produce for their healthy diets, but this is also creating jobs in the communities, right? So for the people who are driving these buses, the ones who are hosting the cooking demonstrations, or even the nutrition education programs that they're having through these old buses, they're helping the economy as well.
Yes. So I'm sure there are challenges though, because like, I mean, in concept, in theory, it sounds fantastic. I wish we had this right here, right now in Korea, right? But what are some of the challenges?
So funding and securing permits for these mobile markets can be challenges.
Right.
It's also important to ensure these markets are positioned in locations with high foot traffic and get for good access for the residents.
Right. Because when you think about it, you don't want all that good produce to go to waste also.
Right.
Because if it's only just for like one or two people to have all of that go to waste, especially in this heat, right? That's also true. Valid points. But I would think that the potential for the impact to have on people that really need access to all this nutritious food might be really huge.
Yes, it's creative and cost effective.
Indeed. Well, I would love to see something like this here in Busan. All right, let's go to our third story.
So lastly, we have the Sahara fog catchers making water.
What is this?
So today's story is simple but also ingenious with the pressing problem of water scarcity around the world.
Oh, yes.
So there's a giant net strung across mountains. Not
like
to catch fish, of course, because there's no fish flying around in our sky.
I hope
but
not.
to catch water.
Okay.
So we're talking about fog catchers.
Like literally catching fog?
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. Massive nets that are harvesting water droplets from the desert air.
Okay. So tell us more.
And it's all magic in the science. Fog is essentially, of course, as we know, made up of tiny little water droplets suspended in the air. And these fog catchers made up of special mesh act like giant filters. As moist air passes through the nets at an altitude of around 1,225 meters, the water droplets condense on the mesh and then drip down into collection tanks.
Ooh.
Then the filtered water is stored in reservoirs, which could hold up to a large amount, which is 539,000 liters.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so they gather up all the fog and they make water. And so is this for areas where they are lacking in water, basically?
Yes. So fog harvesting has been there for a while, but this is for areas where it's very arid and dry. So like we just said, the Sahara
Desert. I get it. Well, we're going to call it a wrap for today, but thank you for bringing really fascinating stories for our waivers today. And we're going to check in with you again next week. But thank you, Kimberly. We do appreciate it. All right, we're going to call it a wrap for hour number 1. How about this one? Another oldie but goodie. I Don't Care by 21. I'll be back at 8.
And your time's up. I had to do this one for my girls, you know. Sometimes you gotta act like you don't care. That's the only way we boys learn. 쉽지 않을 것만 같아. 그저 친구라는 수많은 여자친구 날 똑같이 생각하지만 I won't let it ride. 이젠 네 맘대로 해. 난 미련은 버릴래. 한땐 정말 사랑했는데 가끔씩 술에 취해 전화 걸어. 지금은 새벽 5시 반. 넌 또 다른 여자 이름을 불러. No no I don't care. 그만하네. 네가 어디에서 뭘 하던 이젠 정말 상관 안 할게. 비켜줄래. 이제와 울고불고 매달리지 마. Cause I don't care. I don't care. Cause I don't care. I don't care. Boy 알아. 여자들의 다리를 훔쳐보는 네가 너무너무 한심해. 매일 빼놓는 커플링 나 몰래 한 소개팅 더 이상 못 참을 것 같아. 넌 절대 아니라던 수많은 나의 친구. 난 너 때문에 친구들까지 다 잃었지만 차라리 홀가분해. 너에게 난 과분해. 내 사랑이란 믿었는데 오늘도 바쁘다고 말하는 너 혹시나 전화해봤지만 역시 뒤에선 여자 웃음소리가 들려. Oh no I don't care. 그만하네. 네가 어디에서 뭘 하던 이젠 정말 상관 안 할게. 비켜줄래. 이제와 울고불고 매달리지 마. Cause I don't care. I don't care. Cause I don't care. I don't care. Boy I don't care. 갖고 가기엔 시시.
전 세계 영화인들이 모이는 부산국제영화제와 새로운 시작의 해맞이 축제까지. 부산의 축제는 우리의 열정을 가득 담고 있습니다. 바쁜 일상은 잠시 뒤로 하고 특별한 시간을 선물 받는 바로 이곳 부산에서 우리의 삶은 축제가 됩니다. 축제로 하나 되는 부산. 여러분은 어떤 축제를 기다리시나요? 이 캠페인은 대선공익재단과 bfm 부산영어방송이 함께합니다.
혹시 지금 운전 중이신가요? 어린이 교통사고 피해자 수는 지난 3년 평균 약 9만 명. 특히 어린이 보호구역 안전기준이 강화된 이후에도 어린이 보호구역 내 사고는 지속적으로 발생하고 있습니다. 스쿨존에서는 반드시 시속 30km 이하 서행, 스쿨존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참, 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, BNK 부산은행과 함께합니다.
Hello everyone, I'm James from India. Ever since I was a young boy in India, I have been surrounded by different Korean products, and this instilled a dream in me to explore Korea one day. This chance came for me in 2014 when I began attending Busan National University as a graduate student in computer engineering. I have lived in Korea for over 7 years, and I even run my own business now, a company that is developing a platform based on artificial intelligence and blockchain technology. From my experience, I can say with an absolutely certainty that Busan was the best place for me to start my business, thanks to the specialized blockchain zone. In the past 7 years, Busan has become my second home, and I obviously love it here. Global City Busan, we are in it together. This campaign was brought to you by bfm, Busan영어방송.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
Good morning, Dynamic Busan.
Yeah, you're waking up. Time to shake it up. Tell the world good morning and find out what's going on.
Well, hi there, folks. There's everything from comedy to lively chat to music.
Broadcasting from a room about the size of your closet.
All calls are recorded.
What show is this?
Live from Korea's dynamic city, this is Morning Wave in Busan.
I'm sorry, who'd you say you were?
It is now 8 o'clock and this is news highlights. Han Dong-hoon wins PPP chairmanship in a landslide. Han Dong-hoon has been elected as the new head of the ruling People Power Party, or PPP, at the party's national convention, securing 62.8% of the votes in a landslide victory. Former Land Minister Won Hee-ryong came in second with 18.8%, and Representatives Na Kyung-won and Yoon Sang-hyun with 14.6% and 3.7% respectively. Han called for the party to not fight against public sentiment and be on its side in his acceptance speech. President Yoon Suk-yeol also attended the convention. Questions linger as to how Han's leadership may affect the party's relationship with the president. Yoon to visit Czech Republic to discuss nuclear power project. President Yoon Suk-yeol said he will visit Prague in September at the request of the Czech Prime Minister during their phone call yesterday. The visit will address the successful implementation of a major nuclear power plant project following the Czech Republic's selection of a South Korean consortium as a preferred bidder. Yoon said the project will serve as an opportunity for both countries to boost their capabilities in the nuclear area. Yoon will also send special envoys to follow up on the project. Kim Gun-hee thought gifts from pastor were from discount store. Reports say that First Lady Kim Gun-hee told the prosecution that she had accepted cosmetic products gifted by Pastor Choi Jae-young because she thought they were from a discount store. Kim was found to have received the cosmetic products worth some 1.8 million won in June 2022, which were brought up in the questioning over the luxury bag scandal. The head of Seoul Central Prosecutor's Office yesterday requested the Supreme Prosecution to postpone the probe for Kim being questioned at a government building, as a probe may affect the investigation. Supreme Court Justice nominee faces questions about daughter's investments. The daughter of Supreme Court Justice nominee Lee Soo-hyun was found to have made massive profits in her stock investment by selling the shares she bought with her father's money back to her father. The 26-year-old daughter sold 400 shares of the cosmetics R&D firm stock to her father for about 385 million won in May last year, after buying them for just 6 million won in 2017, according to reports he submitted. These methods are seen as ways to circumvent the law to pass down family wealth to children. The parliamentary confirmation hearing for Yi is scheduled for tomorrow. Harris secures enough delegates for a Democratic nomination. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has secured the support of enough delegates to become her party's nominee against Republican Donald Trump. Major U.S. outlets tallied that Harris won at least 2,668 delegates in one day, putting her far beyond the majority needed for nomination. The support, however, does not bind the delegates to vote for her at the national convention. Harris attended a rally in the swing state of Wisconsin, saying that Donald Trump will take the country backward. A Reuters Ipsos poll showed Harris with a marginal 2-point lead over Trump. And this was News Highlights. It's time for Issue Wagu Wagu. We have Haley back in the studio.
Hello again.
Yes, yes, yes. All right. So many of us have turned on the AC. Like I said, I've turned the remotes. I've handed the remotes back to the family members.
I text my mom before I go home.
Yes.
Like, can you turn on the AC? I know you and Dad think there's somehow natural wind blowing from somewhere in the middle of July, but there really isn't. So can you please have the AC on when I come home?
Yeah. And, these appliances, they come with that, that outside fan unit. What do they call the 실외기? But apparently many of these units are installed illegally. Really?
The things we take for granted and the things we learn and the laws. So, all right, the external AC motor, the wind exiter, the 실외기. So under current law, it is illegal to install these external units on the exterior of the building. But then you're asking, so are every single one of these units illegal then? Okay, here's this weird law, but let's get to why this is an issue now.
Yes.
It's a safety issue. So in May of this year, right here in Busan, in Namgu, in fact, a report came into the local 119 that two of these 실외기s, the external AC units, were literally dangling off of a residential building because the railing that was supporting them had broken off. And you can see that on our YouTube page. So there's one kind of in the middle of the building that's like slanted down, like on top of the downstairs unit. But then if you look at the second floor, or I guess the first like residential floor, there's one that's just down, that is falling down.
Is not good.
I mean, that could have fallen onto someone.
Right.
So turns out the aluminum connector that had linked the railing had worn down in the last 8 years of it, being up there.
Okay.
So the district office sent officials and ran a survey, and there were nearly 400 households in Namgu alone that had the units illegally installed on the outside of the building.
And that's just in Namgu.
That's just in one district.
So where are you supposed to install it then?
Okay, there's a very fine line, but there's a difference. Of course, you cannot have that. It's an external unit inside your home because that defeats the whole purpose of having air conditioning. But it's illegal just to, for lack of a better term, stick it on. Just plop it onto the outside of the building using like a railing or wires or connectors. So that, unfortunately, is what a lot of studio apartments and Korean the office cells and one rooms will do. So what is supposed to happen in your balcony or veranda? There's supposed to be a separate space that kind of like juts out from the unit where you can put the exterior units.
Okay.
And this is under the housing construction standards. So the contractor is actually supposed to put in that little space for the unit. So as you look at the apartment, if there's like a railing that goes from the that covers the outside, it's supposed to go flat and then kind of jut out to cover the exterior unit as well. Most apartments will. Some don't. So because under the law, you cannot have any devices standalone devices that protrude from outside the outer walls. That's just a safety issue. So there have been some neighbor disputes with people who install their exterior units just kind of independently. If it's an older apartment that didn't have that, or if it's a bigger apartment. So if you're going to have ACs on two separate sides of the building, you have to install an extra one. But some people, it's kind of a consideration issue because they'll install it right above where your downstairs neighbor's window opens. So that can sometimes, if it leaks, that leads to water leaking issues, noise, heat. So there have been neighbor disputes as well.
I see. Well, now we know.
Yeah.
Now we know. All right, let's move on. This issue has been quite hot recently. Overprotection of celebrities by their private security.
So private security is, of course, needed, especially at like airports. I know there are some, fan seems to be a not an appropriate word. Near stalker level people.
Well, fanatic.
Yes. And I have heard of people like who book the same tickets to go on the airplane and take photos. So number one, we're not discounting security, but overprotection at the risk of hurting others has been an issue as of late. So for one, a teenage fan suffered a concussion.
Oh, what happened?
After a security guard for idol group Gravity allegedly hit her. So according to a JTBC report, the group's bodyguards at an airport, they pushed the fans, blocked them, and even hit him on the head.
Is that the security guard?
Yes.
Because he's hefty looking.
He's a big guy. He's a big guy. A security guard often is. And you can see the subtitles where the fan says, "You pushed me, you didn't, I didn't." There's like an altercation back and forth. So the teenager has filed a case against the guard, saying that she was diagnosed with a concussion.
Aww.
Starship Entertainment, agency for Gravity, they issued a statement saying that they deeply apologize for the guard's inappropriate behavior.
Okay.
They've also terminated the contract with the private security firm, and in the future will come up with security protocol and also conduct training to prevent this from happening again.
Right. Once again, the whole point is to protect the artist, but also not to go overboard.
Right.
And there was a different actor whose excessive security led to the president of Incheon International Airport Corporation to make a statement.
During a parliamentary hearing, by the way. So this got serious, and we're talking about actor Byun Woo-seok, who is like one of the hottest up-and-comers right now. We have a lot of fans. So he was going abroad via Incheon International Airport on July 12th. So his private security team apparently arbitrarily closed off the airport gate while he was going in and banned fellow travelers from entering the gate. They can't do that's illegal. They also allegedly blocked entry to the airline's lounge while the actor was in there and he was waiting in there. So they checked the passengers' passports, also not allowed to do that, and the boarding pass to make sure that they could get access to the lounge. Which was, and then, so you'll see this visual on our YouTube feed.
Yes.
So the flashlight, it's kind of common practice because you have fans with those like gigantic cameras who take photos of the celebrities in the airport. Apparently flashing the lights at the camera, it blurs the photos or it floods the photos with lights, but they're actually doing that inside the lounge.
I see.
So for people who had presumably paid or they had upgraded to
be in the lounge,
it's like, what are you doing?
Right.
So then this went into a whole issue about the security at the airport. So the question is, well, what was airport personnel doing while private security was closing off gates? Like what people have to go places in airports. So the head of Incheon International Airport Corporation, Lee Hak-jae, commented on this during his parliamentary questioning last week. So Lee said that this type of excessive security is unprecedented. He actually seems to have been baffled, as many were, saying that hundreds of celebrities use the airport every year and they've never had private security act in such a manner. And he added that what the security did was illegal and will ask responsibility to the security firm, but also on the part of the airport, take responsibility for the employees not being aware of this and not taking action to prevent inconveniences for other travelers.
Yes. And I'm sure some people, some of the employees may have been starstruck, but do your job. Right.
There were also issues of not just him, but some celebrities will not listen to what the guards are saying.
Exactly.
And because they're very enthusiastic about fans, they'll kind of go out of the guards, the line, and try to shake hands and sign autographs. But that, especially in a congested area like an airport, it's just not safe for anyone.
Let's all do our jobs.
Right.
All right. For our last one, a rising hip trend apparently is trending among the younger generation, but it's Buddhism.
Buddhism, which has been around for centuries.
Yes.
Over a millennia. So its activities, especially how they focus on healing, quieting the mind, it has been really popular amongst the younger generation.
Okay.
So Buddhism itself and also temples, they've been trying to cater to that younger generation as well by introducing some exciting activities. So for one, Naksansa Temple in Yangyang in Gangwon.
Okay.
Surfing temple stay.
I laugh because the last time I went to Yangyang, I mean, it's a surfing mecca, right?
But then also, usually temples are located in the middle of a mountain, so you're like, how, what?
Okay.
So it offers meditation programs in front of the ocean and surfing, and this is collaboration with Yangyang's Surfy Beach. And then, so
wait, is it?
That's Yujin Soo.
Right,
of course.
Like,
we'll get to him later. But so, the program I'm Solo, 나는 솔로. I love a pun. 나는 절로. Like 절 is Buddhist temple in Korean. And this is a matchmaking program.
Oh, it is?
It is.
So they just put everything all together?
It is. At the same temple, Naksansa, for July 7th on the lunar calendar. And why is that significant? It is 7월 7석. That's the myth of this starstruck, ill-aligned couple, 견우 and 직녀, the star-crossed lovers. There's that
bridge
word.
of the...
And they're separated for 364 days of the year. Magpies and crows take pity on them, form this bridge, and they meet. So it's like the most romantic traditional day. So they're holding a matchmaking day on July 7th on the lunar calendar. That's next month. So the temple is currently taking applications. You do have to go to Gangwon though. So
any takers? Any single people?
So if you can use your vacation for that day, do. Dongguk University, which is a Buddhist school, it recently got 14 new Buddhism-related student organizations. So this isn't organized by the school, it's students doing it. So these are people in their early 20s. And this is also evidenced by, of course, this guy, Yujin Soo-nim, who is a comedian, but he dresses up like a monk who does EDM parties. Quite popular in Korea.
Yes.
To various responses in other more traditional Buddhist countries. But he was like the big event at the International Buddhism Expo in Seoul.
Okay.
By the way, he's coming to Busan next month because Busan's having a Busan International Buddhism Expo, Busan 국제 불교 박람회 at Bexco. Entry is free if you register by July 28th, so you have until the end of this week to register. I may have. So why not?
Interesting.
I'm not Gen Z, but I'm of the pushed, forced together MZ generation. So I'm gonna go.
Are you going to the one in the temple?
I'm not
matchmaking one.
Well, who's gonna fill in for me? Staying put. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not 나는 절로, but I am going to the Buddhist Expo. Maybe to the EDM party too.
Well, thank you for going over all the issues. We'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Haley.
Have a great day.
All right. Well, let's get to our weather and traffic report. It is now 8:17. Here's your traffic update. It's looking slow on Byeonglo from the old Banyo toll gate to the Suyeong Tunnel. Also backed up on Gwanmun-daero from Sujeong Tunnel to Baekyang Tunnel as well. Looking slow on the Dongso overpass from the old Gaegum toll gate in both directions. There's also congestion on Gwangan Bridge going towards Namcheon area. It's currently 25 degrees Celsius and it's showering across parts of the city. Showers are forecast sporadically throughout the day with the sun due to peak out throughout parts of the day. The daytime high will go up to 32 degrees Celsius under another heat wave advisory day. The rest of the country will see some rain with up to 80 millimeters in parts of Gyeonggi and most of the country under a heat wave advisory. And this was your traffic and weather. All right, to brighten up your day, Party Rock Anthem by LMFAO.
Everybody just have a good time. Yeah. And we gon' make you lose your mind. Everybody just have a good time. Party rock is in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time. And we gon' make you lose your mind. We just wanna see you shake that.
In the club, party rock. Top jeans tattoo, cause I'm rock and roll. Half black, half white, diamond low. Gang of money, open top.
Yeah, can't roll, no halo, we party rock. Yeah, that's the crew that I'm reppin' on a rise to the top. No lead in our Zeppelin. Hey, party rock is in the house tonight. Woo! Everybody just have a good time. Yeah, and we gon' make you lose your mind. Everybody just have a good time. Let's go. Party rock is in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time. Feel it, man. And we gon' make you lose your mind. We just wanna see you shake that.
Every day I'm shuffling.
Shuffling. Step up fast and be the first girl to make me throw this cash. We get mine, don't be mad. Now stop. Hey, see, shake it up. Now you home with me. Get now.
Get down, put your hands up to the sun. Get up, get down, put your hands up to the sun. Get up, get down, put your hands up to the sun. Put your hands up to the sun. Put your hands up to the sun. Get up, 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 get up. Put your hands up to the sun.
Party rock is in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time. Yeah. And we gon' make you lose your mind. Everybody just have a good time. Oh, put your hands up. Oh, I can feel it, baby. Oh, put your hands up. Oh, put your hands up. Shake that.
Every day I'm shuffling.
Welcome back, everybody. Who was dancing? Come on, you know you guys had your arms up and the hands up, right? Dancing. Anyhow, our text topic today, it was all about basically if you take cold, hot showers, if you sleep with a blanket on or with no cover since it's been so hot. And there's been some mixed responses. And even with the showers, let me ask you this then. Some of us are aging. Well, we're all aging. We can't deny that. Has it changed? Like some people, a lot of the responses I got today was all about like, oh, when I was younger, I used to take cold showers, but now I take, warm showers. But, I did see Taejin who said, oh, I'm Sangnamja, I still take a cold shower. So does it have to do with like age or like your machismo that you're still taking a cold shower? I don't know. But thank you for your responses. I do appreciate that. And I don't know, the songs lately, the song choices, our PD team has been on point lately. And yeah, we're going to get to our special interview. And this is of much interest because this whooping cough, this pegide has been really making the rounds here in Korea. So we're going to get right to it. And I'll be back with our special interview. Whooping cough. This is called 백일해 in Korean because the cough lasts for about 100 days. This was once a fatal disease for infants, but thanks to vaccination and advancements in medicine, its outbreak has gone down considerably. However, we are seeing a resurgence in whooping cough cases, both in South Korea and in certain parts of the world, not only affecting newborns, but children and even teenagers. So let's find out more about this. And we have invited back to the airwaves Dr. Alice Tan, an internist at Seoul MizMedi Hospital. Let's say hi to her right now. Hi, Dr. Tan. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So I have to say, I haven't heard of whooping cough in forever because from what I understand, I mean, first of all, like, isn't this like what our kids are vaccinated for like way early on? Am I mistaken?
Oh, no, you're completely right. So another name for whooping cough is pertussis. And so children normally receive DTP vaccination as part of their routine childhood vaccination starting from 2 months of age. And so most of the time, this is a rare disease. And so that's why people probably haven't heard of it. But it's highly infectious. And so when there are outbreaks, it can spread quite widely in a short period of time. And that's what's going on in Korea right now. There is an outbreak.
Right. And so in Korean, it's known as 백일해. And so I guess back in the day, because, the cough lasted for like 100 days, and that's why it was named so. What are the symptoms? What are the causes? What do we know about it?
Right. So this is a respiratory disease that is spread by a bacteria in the class of Bordetella. So right now in Korea, there are 2 species of the bacteria that are spreading, Bordetella pertussis and Bordetella holmesi. Basically, in terms of the symptoms, they can occur in 3 different stages. The first stage lasts about 1 to 2 weeks. And it looks like a common cold in the beginning. You could have nasal symptoms, so runny nose, stuffy nose, eye symptoms, runny eyes, red eyes, itchy eyes. You could have a sore throat. Then you progress to this, what we call a paroxysmal cough. And it's a very severe cough that happens sort of all of a sudden, this very violent coughing jag that is so severe, it causes vomiting in many cases, and also complete shortness of breath. Like the kid, usually it's the child who's infected, can't breathe anymore. They're coughing so severely. And then the last phase is the convalescent phase. And that can last for weeks to months, up to 3 months. And that's where it gets its name of the 100-day cough.
Ah, yes. So as I preface this interview with, we've been seeing a surge in pertussis or whooping cough cases lately. If this is correct, by about 300 times according to the Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency. What's the reason for the surge?
Right. Just to give you an idea of how severe the surge is this time around in South Korea, if you look at the total number of cases for the last 10 years prior to this last season, there were about 2,700 cases. Whereas for this respiratory season of cases, we're seeing about 7,000 cases. So it's a huge increase compared to what we normally see sort of in a usual respiratory calendar. We think that it has to do mostly with a drop-off in vaccinations during the pandemic. But as I mentioned, this is a highly, highly contagious disease. So one infected person, and I said usually the cases are children. So one infected child can infect up to 17 other people in a short amount of time. So if you have a classroom of 30 children, and the child is in school for 2 days and is infectious, pretty much the entire class can get infected in due course. And so we do think it's because of a drop-off in vaccinations, but I will tell you, just from my personal experience in clinic, what I've noticed is there are a significant number of children in public schools who are not up to date on their routine childhood vaccinations, but who are still going to school. And I don't know exactly where the blind spot is in terms of not catching these children and making sure that they're up to date on their vaccinations before they head to school. But I think that's a major reason for why we're seeing this huge uptick in cases. The vast majority of cases, more than 90% of the cases in South Korea have been between the ages of 7 and 19. So this is spreading in school.
Yes, yes. And so for children who have been vaccinated, I mean, even for just, kids that I know personally, mothers who have been asking me, I'm like, I'm not a doctor, but, they've asked me to ask you personally. My kid was vaccinated. They have the medical records, but they're kind of perplexed. Like, how could my kid have gotten, pertussis when they know for sure their kid was vaccinated and they got it from their kid's classmate? How can this be? Does it mean that immunity does wane after a certain number of years?
Immunity certainly can wane, but to be fully vaccinated, you need to have finished the entire series. And so we're talking about a course of 5 vaccinations as the basic course, starting at, as I said, 2 months of age. So 2, 4, 6 months, then around 15 months. And then when a child enters school, between 5 and 6 years.
Right.
And then they need another booster again, 11 to 12 years. And then we start adult vaccinations starting at age 19. So, the mother can think that the child is fully vaccinated when in fact, they just received, say, 1 shot of the 5 shots in the series that the child is supposed to have received. And so if you do not have full immunity, certainly you can be vulnerable to getting infected.
I see. So when you talk about the 5 shots, if you have children who are maybe like 11 or 12 years old, they might not have gotten their 4th or 5th shot then.
Right, exactly. So they may not have finished their full series.
I see. Well, you've already told us about the symptoms, but how can you be tested for this? Because, for example, kids that may be having cold symptoms, like when do you know? Like when should you ask your doctor, is this a cold? Is this a flu? Is this COVID? Is this bronchitis? Like how do you know?
Right. So other than the cold-like symptoms, which can happen in so many other respiratory diseases, the child could also have a fever. So a fever would be a sign that perhaps there's something else going on. It's not just a common cold. In terms of the diagnosis, it could be made with a nasal swab, a nasopharyngeal swab. So it's that testing method that we're also familiar with, that we've all done during the pandemic, basically a swab deep up in the nasal cavity. And then the test is run either for PCR or a culture, and that gives the diagnosis. So I would say the tip off 2 things. If the child has a fever, or from the news or from the school, a bulletin that pertussis is circulating in your area,
yes,
then those would be the reasons to get tested. And right now, the hot spots in South Korea are the Gyeonggi province and the Gyeongnam provinces.
Indeed, indeed. And so in terms of if your child or someone in your family does come down with pertussis or whooping cough, then what is the course of, treatment?
Right. So antibiotics, there are antibiotics that can treat this disease. They're in the class of medications that we call macrolide antibiotics. And some of the treatment, if the case is mild, can be done at home if the patient just isolates at home. Say if they're able to take in fluids, they're able to eat, that they can be treated at home. Otherwise, in out of 5 cases currently in South Korea, they've received hospitalization for their treatment. The other thing that I should note is if a person, say, is suspected of having exposure to pertussis and they may be vulnerable, you can take prophylactic antibiotics to try to prevent the onset of disease. So that's also something that's important to keep in mind, that if you know that it's circulating and you suspect that you may have been exposed, you can take antibiotics to prevent the onset of the disease as well.
Very interesting. So all in all, I've noticed that even with my nieces and nephews, their schools have advised them to wear masks again. So is that another preventive measure, in your opinion, Dr. Don, that might help in trying to prevent the spread of it, especially in a school setting?
Right. So wearing a mask, practicing good respiratory hygiene, good hand hygiene. If you notice that there is someone with acute respiratory symptoms, keep your distance. Those are all common sense measures that we can take to prevent getting whooping cough pertussis.
Well, thank you so much for coming on air with us and giving us some really good information about this whooping cough pertussis, which is happening definitely in our area. Thank you, Dr. Dan.
Thank you.
Once again, for those of you who have not heard, yes, 백일해, it is making the rounds here in the Busan area. So please check with your loved ones, especially if you have young ones, nieces, nephews, children. Ask and make sure that you are well aware. And if your children have not gone through their full course, or even you or your elderly parents, check on them to make sure that they are fully vaccinated. All right, let's take a short song break. This is Macho Man by Village People.
Oh, yeah.
Muscles grow.
Get your local up-to-date news from Korea and abroad right here on Morning Wave in Busan with Catherine. Stay tuned.
It's time for Skills 101. We have Jennifer in the studio. Good morning.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. It rained a lot last night. Did you hear the sound?
I
Thunder?
did. I did. Did you?
Yeah, very well.
Some people did not.
It was scary.
I
Our
know.
PD님, yeah.
Our engineer did not either.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It was so loud.
Some people did not.
Oh.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
No shame in sleeping through thunder and lightning and like.
That means they slept well.
I know,
right?
but
right?
like I was kind of like, how could like when I first heard she didn't hear anything, I was kind of like more of a like. 어떻게 그거를 못 like I was kind of like
so
flabbergasted
surprised.
like
Yeah.
how could you like not like hear but you know our
rain
text
had
topic
stopped.
our text topic today we're talking about what were we talking about? 뭐였죠? Shower temperature of the so we're talking I'm still on the thunder and lightning. We're talking about like temperature of the water because it's so hot and humid.
Yeah.
Do you still take warm or hot showers even?
Always warm shower.
Really?
And I drink like I never drink ice Americano. I always order hot coffee with cold water.
With
Yeah, so I know it's odd, but yeah, that's what I'm used to.
Sleeping, do you sleep with the blanket still like?
Oh yeah.
Oh, cozy.
Yeah.
Don't tell me, do you still have the electric blanket on?
No, I'm not that crazy.
그 정도는 아니죠?
Yeah, but I mean, I used to be a summer person. I loved summer. I actually enjoyed the heat, but in recent years. During the summer, heat has become a bit of a challenge. I guess I'm getting old.
Not old.
Yeah, older. Yeah,
older,
And,
more sophisticated.
Yeah, yeah. When I find it really, it's really hard to cope with the humidity.
The humidity. Like I said, like yesterday, it's not the heat that gets to me. It's the humidity. It's like
humidity and
like,
heat
터지는 것 같고,
combined.
like it's just like and I kept on saying like, I think I said it like 10 times yesterday. 여기 동남아. Like I kept on saying yes.
Oh, yeah,
that's what I
right.
feel like. All right, what are we getting into?
So we'll be discussing how to handle extreme heat and provide first aid. I know on like Morning Wave Busan, we have discussed the similar topics a few times, but it's never too much to highlight it. This topic.
Yes,
so
yes.
important.
So
let's get started.
Let's get started.
Let's start with hydration, which is crucial during extreme heat. Do you drink enough water?
I don't.
Oh,
I don't want to lie on air. I don't want to be a fake person and say like I drink 2 liters and like I don't want to lie. I want to be genuine. I don't.
What about other beverage?
I don't.
You don't? Oh,
And
you're so dehydrated.
I'm so dehydrated. And look at today, because like Umberto always like yells at me and says water. So I promised, look at how much water I drink.
Oh, you just had a sip.
I had a sip. I'm so bad. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, they drink coffee, soda. Yeah,
This is all the
juice.
water I've had since 4:30 in the morning. That's bad. Huh?
Oh, that's really bad.
That's really bad. And I forgot to drink my lukewarm cup of water that I promised. I've been doing, but I forgot this morning.
But in my case as well, I really have to make an effort to drink water.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I have to keep reminding
water
myself.
today.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
The hydration helps regulate body temperature. So drink plenty of water, but avoid alcohol and caffeine as they dehydrate you. When you drink a cup of coffee, make sure to drink the same amount of water to stay hydrated. So one Americano and one glass of water. Yeah.
Okay, I will try.
They say you need to drink that much water to maintain your hydration levels.
Vasana says, I know who you are, VH. It's Vasana. Wine has water. So he says.
Wine has water.
Technically it does.
yeah.
So does soda, but it doesn't count.
I love coffee, but so I drink enough coffee, 2, 3, 4. Yeah,
but that means you need to drink as much, like one for one.
4 glasses.
But that means you're going to be living in the bathroom, like constantly going to the bathroom. Oh no!
So I really have to make.
Okay,
an
so
effort.
I will make a conscious decision. Okay, if I'm going to drink one, cup of coffee. 1 cup of water.
yeah.
But you know what? I don't drink that much coffee, so I'm like,
okay.
I'm good. Okay. Good to know.
Okay.
But what about in terms of clothing? Because it is like so hot and humid, and I do try to go into air conditioning conditioned places to kind of stay cool. But what is the best way to dress for summer?
When dressing for hot summer days
Yes.
while considering air-conditioned places,
Right.
avoid heavy, non-breathable fabrics like polyester and nylon, as well as dark-colored and tight-fitting clothes.
Okay, not tight-fitting, loose.
Loose, yeah.
I love black. Okay.
So instead wear light-colored, loose-fitting clothes made from breathable materials like cotton, as they help you keep you cool by allowing sweat to evaporate.
Okay. Yes.
So, and always carry a light cardigan or a lightweight scarf for indoor use.
Sure. That makes sense though. Yes. And for for summer scarves, which are, very, very trendy these days, what about like the materials? What materials do you think are good? Like cotton
is always good, viscose or rayon.
Rayon?
Yeah,
Okay,
linen,
okay.
chiffon, they are all recommended. Yeah.
For me, my go-to, especially for pants, I love like linen pants. Like, because the bad thing is like they wrinkle.
Yeah, but they keep your skin dry.
Yeah,
right?
but it dries really quickly.
Yeah.
I know you get wrinkles, but they dry quickly. So yes. Linen is good, right?
You have to give up something,
Yeah.
So whatever you wear, try to stay indoors during the hottest parts of the day, usually between 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. when the sun is most intense.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, sunscreen.
It's
so important, right?
So important. Yeah, sunscreen protects your skin from harmful UV rays, reducing the risk of sunburn and heat-related issues. But what we need to remember is we need to apply it generously.
Not just a little.
And reapply as needed.
Yes.
But most of us, we apply it in the morning once,
You know what the thing is? I don't know. I've seen women reapply, like there's a way to reapply sunscreen, they say over makeup. I don't know. I've tried it.
So sticky.
It's so sticky and it messes up your makeup. It does. I've tried it. And then I know like you walked in, you're like, wow, you have a lot of blush on today. And then look in the camera, right? I know I try to put in a more color because like everybody like, Tommy, are you still here? Oh, okay, Tommy. Do you see the color on my cheeks? Because he calls me a ghost every day.
Oh, because
I'm
pale?
so pale. No, because of the coloring, of the curtain, right? And then like yesterday I was wearing beige, and he calls me like a ghost every day. So I put on some color on my cheeks, and then like Haley today, she's like, "Whoa!" Like she's like, and I was like, "Yeah, I know I look like a clown in person, but on the camera." I look so pale because of the color, the lighting.
Yeah.
Anyhow, right. And then putting the sun cream over it's like reapplying. It's just like.
But these days there are products with sunscreen and like in powder.
Everything.
Everything.
Everything has SPF. Yes, everything has SPF.
You
thank
can
goodness.
reapply it that way. But
right.
Always generous amount because we always like squeeze it just a little bit and then.
But you're saying generous.
Yeah,
Apply
generously. That's what dermatologists say.
And don't forget your ears. They say don't forget the back of your ears, and if for the men, like the back of your neck. People forget. They only just do.
Oh yeah,
the face,
right? Just the face.
Just the face.
And,
right.
and before you talked about like cold shower and warm shower, yes, cool showers or bath can be effective in lowering your body temperature quickly. However, be aware that the sudden drop in temperature can cause the blood vessels to constrict, which might increase blood pressure. Yeah, so cold shower is good. It cools down the body temperature, but when your body is still so hot and you suddenly like take a cold shower, if you have a heart condition,
don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
And I heard that you should take actually like a lukewarm shower. Like if you take if it's too ice cold, actually, then when you get out of the shower and it's too hot outside, it's not going to do much good.
No.
So to take a kind of a cool shower, like not a ice cold shower. So what about fans and air conditioning?
Do you sleep with fans on? Or
I have
AC
a fan on pretty much all the time. And then the AC goes on only when it's like I can't bear it anymore. So I try not to turn the AC on too much.
Do you know this Korean myth called fan death?
It's a myth, right? Tell us, right? It's a myth, right? Yes.
Yeah, people believe you can die if you sleep with a fan on. That's a fan death.
I know, where did
Korea.
it come about?
Yeah. I mean, I heard it a lot when I was a kid. It probably came from concerns about poor ventilation or old, unsafe electric fans.
We've all heard it, though.
Yeah, people worried about suffocating or the fan causing some kind of harm. You know? That's what my parents told me when I was little.
We all heard it.
It's kind of funny looking back.
Like if you sleep on the floor, 입 돌아간다. And then we've all heard it, right? And then literally when I heard it, and I would be like, when I heard it in California, my Korean wasn't good. I didn't even understand what the 입 돌아간다.
Oh yeah.
I thought it meant like my lips. I thought it meant like it would run around, and I was like, how would it run around? Right? But then with the fan death too. So, what about in terms of physical activity?
Avoid strenuous activities during the afternoon where the heat is on its peak. If you must exercise, do it during cooler parts of the day, in the evening or early hour in the morning, or go to the gym. That's the easiest way. Remember, staying safe is in the heat is crucial.
I don't understand because my roommate, he works out 365 days a year, whether it's hot or not.
He goes to the gym?
Or indoor, at home gym.
Home gym.
It's so annoying because I'm at home, just, trying to stay cool.
Yeah.
And he's grunting, working out. And I'm just staring at him why? But he it's it's his routine. He enjoys working out. And I'm in this weather.
In this weather.
In this weather.
Does he have AC on?
Yeah, he has the AC on, and I'm just but still.
It makes you feel hot to just
looking at him. It's
looking at him. Yeah.
짜증나요. Just what? I hope he's not listening, but yes. 짜증나요. 쳐다만 봐도 이 날씨에? Yes.
But,
any other tips?
Yeah. We have to be careful about heat-related illnesses as well. The symptoms of heat exhaustion include heavy sweating, weakness. But weakness, I always feel it, every day. Dizziness, nausea, and headache. Heat stroke symptoms include high body temperature, high body temperature, confusion, and unconsciousness. So we have to be aware of all these symptoms.
Right, absolutely. And then one last thing I do want to touch upon, food. Really, really quick before you go, because I made something the other day. An hour later, I came back to taste it, and it tasted funny. An hour later, and sorry, not to pound. I'm not angry, but an hour later, it tasted really funny. I had to throw it out. An hour later.
Yeah, food poisoning is.
We have to be really careful.
Really careful.
Yes.
I mean, when you have food poisoning, make sure to stay hydrated and drink plenty of fluids like water or other rehydration solutions, and avoid solid foods until vomiting and diarrhea have stopped. It's so tempting to eat something salty and sweet, even when you are not 100% recovered.
Right.
I mean, to be honest, when I was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it was perfectly fine. Even after indigestion, after food poisoning, having some food and drink didn't do much harm. But as we are getting older, our metabolism slows down. I mean, we have to be more careful.
Absolutely.
If symptoms are severe, such as persistent vomiting, high fever, or dehydration, seek medical help promptly. So, and to prevent food poisoning, be cautious with perishable foods like dairy, meat, and seafood. Even just leaving it outside for like
I
couple
said,
of hours.
For me, it was an hour.
Oh,
and it was like a soupy thing. So I threw it out immediately. And I was just like, oh, yeah.
Had a similar experience recently.
So I was just like, and so I said, officially, not cooking for the summer. Kitchen is closed. And I was just like, I'm not going to risk it.
I used all these ingredients.
Exactly.
Organic things, you know.
I tossed I just tossed everything out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to call it a wrap. But thank you so much for going over all of these safety tips for our listeners.
One last thing.
Yes.
Don't forget to wear a hat and sunglasses.
Important.
Not wearing sunglasses can harm your eyes by increasing the risk of cataracts and other eye problems. And also, staying under the sun without hats can cause damage to your hair and scalp. If you have a sensitive scalp, it can really
want to
do
protect
a lot
our
of damage.
hair.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
So,
Great
that
tips.
helps to wear sunglasses and hats.
All right. Well, we'll check in with you next week.
Okay,
Thank you, Jennifer.
Bye-bye.
We're going to call it a wrap. Thank you for joining us today and chit-chatting with us as well. I hope you have a wonderful day, everybody. This is Thunder by Imagine Dragons. Bye, everybody.
I was dreaming of bigger things and wanna leave my old life behind. Not a yes, sir, not a follower. Fit the box, fit the mold, have a seat in the foyer. Take a number. I was lightning before the thunder.
Thunder, 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 thunder,
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder, thunder, thunder. Kids were laughing in my classes while I was scheming for the masses. Who do you think you are? Dreaming about being a big star. They say you're basic, they say you're easy. You're always riding in the backseat. Now I'm smiling from the stage while you were clapping in the nosebleeds.
thunder, 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 thunder,
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder.